What are you doing?
I'm marking the backstays because I have to disconnect them because we're getting the boat hauled out and they want the backstays disconnected before they'll haul them out. And I'm marking it so I'll know where it was, the turnbuckle on the rigging. I just have a cotter pin that I have to get out.
Got it.
One more to go here. Second one.
Woo. There it is.
Well, we have both backstays off and they're now wrapped around the boom, and we're going to head over to the yard. Are we ready?
No. Do you want to loosen that up a little bit when we get a little in the water?
We got all our junk off the boat, kayak and paddleboard. We're headed over to the yard here, and we're using the Long Beach Marina Shipyard. It's not the least expensive place in the area, but it's certainly the most convenient for us.
Yeah, I don't think I see anybody. Nope. All clear.
I think the dinghy's okay, actually.
All right.
Well, as it turns out, I didn't have to release the backstays because they didn't use the crane, they used the elevator lift instead, so had to do a little work for nothing. So hopefully next time it'll be in the notes and they won't ask me to release those backstays again. There she goes. So what I'm going to get done is I'm going to get the bottom painted. They'll put 2 coats of bottom paint on after they do a little fairing, a little sanding on the bottom in the spots that need some work. They'll put some epoxy on and a couple of coats of paint. And this is not cheap. I mean, nothing involving a boat is cheap. So to get it hauled out is $400. And to get the bottom sanded, faired, and painted with 2 coats of bottom paint, just that alone with the haul out is going to be $2,400. Now, I also got some other work done, and it always happens. People joke they call the yard over here, they call it the 5,000 plus yard because you don't get out of there for less than $5,000. I did manage to get out for less than $5,000, but it was barely. So in addition to the bottom paint, I want them to check out my PSS dripless shaft seal because it's dripping. When I first bought it about 20 years ago, I put a PYI PSS dripless shaft seal on there because I just didn't like making the adjustments with the stuffing box all the time, and the fact that I would always have water in the bilge. So I had that one installed and it stayed in there for about 15 years and it wasn't leaking when I had it replaced, but it was just, it'd been there so long that it was still the original billow. They say to replace that after, I think, 5 or 7 years or something like that, but you should always be inspecting it for dry rot. And mine always looked good, didn't show any signs of cracking, and it lasted 15 years, and I had a new one put in about 5 years ago. And that one was leaking from the right after it was installed, but it was never a lot. If I motor sailed all the way to Catalina, which is about 26 miles, there would only be a couple of tablespoons of water in there. But the first one I had installed never leaked at all, so I wanted to check that out. They replaced all the parts with the dripless shaft seal without any charge. I was just outside of warranty, but they went ahead and covered it anyway. So I have a brand new dripless shaft seal in.
Okay, this is after one coat. And no blisters this time around. So it's actually in pretty good shape. I had seen some paint blisters when I was in Catalina, when I was underneath the boat. But that's all they were paint blisters. So one more coat and then it'll go back in the water tomorrow. Looking good.
And I also had some other things replaced. Had a couple of valves that I wanted replaced. One was the raw water intake ball valve, or Seacock, and that one was starting to show some corrosion, so they replaced that valve. And then the other valve is the one that is the drain for the galley sink.
That's a new through hole right there, the new Seacock new valve. That's the through hole for the raw water intake with a screen on there now. Well, it's got 2 coats of paint and some new through holes, new Seacocks, and it's ready to get launched.
There's always an unexpected repair when you get hauled out, it seems like. And so this time it was the stern tube, and it was pretty corroded. I probably have some electrolysis going on, either from my own boat or a neighboring boat or even the shore power. So I don't know which one that is, but I think it was the original stern tube. So it's been in there for a long time, since 1991. But anyway, I didn't expect to have to replace that, and that was kind of expensive. So stern tube, 2 new valves, the raw water intake, Seacock, and the drain for the galley, and both of those really needed to be done as well. So hey, it could have been more painful. So we got the boat back really fast. They always work fast because they've got limited space and they want to get the boats in and out. So it was only there for a couple of days. So that's always a positive. And this yard, I've been using them for 20 years since I got the boat. I've tried a couple of other yards during that time, but I've mainly used this yard. And I can tell you, in the last few years, their customer service has really improved. Communication is really good. They let you know what's going on. They send you pictures. You can go to the yard and check it out yourself and see what it looks like. So, hey, it's expensive, but at least it wasn't too painful other than the wallet. Easy to work with these guys, great communication, and so that part of it I definitely appreciate. I only get it hauled out about once every 3 years for bottom paint and then whatever else needs to be done. This time we really didn't find any blisters. There were some really tiny ones on the rudder, but not even big enough to be concerned with. They took a look at those and didn't suggest that we even do anything with that. They were so small. So I have hauled it out before where we had some blisters, and that's definitely more expensive. So I felt kind of lucky, I guess, that that was all that we had to get done this trip or this haul out.
The new valve for the galley sink is underneath here, and I'll see if I can get a video. It's kind of hard to get to, but you can see a little bit of the bronze valve. So that is the new bronze valve for the galley through-hole drain. Under the aft berth here is access to the valve that was replaced for the raw water intake and for the PYI dripless shaft seal. So we'll pull this up. So this is the new valve for the through hole for the seawater raw water intake, which cools the engine. And over here is the new PSS dripless seal for the shaft and new billows, so all the parts are new. So hopefully this will be as good as the first one I had installed, which lasted a long time, and we don't have any leaks. That eliminates the stuffing box, and I keep a dry bilge.
It's a big hit, but I only haul the boat about once every 3 years to get it painted and then find out what else needs to be done. And it's a good opportunity to get it done when it's out on the hard, out of the water. So it's a boat and it costs money and it's never ending. But I do a lot of the stuff myself, but I don't do the bottom paint and some of the other things like replacing the through hulls. I don't do that as well. So I save money where I can, doing all the varnish, all the teak work myself. I do the waxing of the hull and the deck and the bright work myself, and I do most of the engine maintenance myself. So I got to take this hit when I go to the yard. Oh well. So not too bad, and looking forward to a great sailing season. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, please like this video, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.